Wow, wow, wow. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Knocks to Nuggets. My name is Oluwayomi Ute, and it's such a joy to come your way this very beautiful Monday morning. Thank God, as always, for the gift of life. We just never take that for granted. It's of His mercies that we are not consumed. And thank you, every single person that's joining me live. I don't take it for granted at all. And for everyone that will watch thereafter, thank you for giving me a share of your time. And like I will always ask you, please like the video, share it, let someone out there know that there is something called Knocks to Nuggets. And also let me have your feedback. Your feedback is so important to me. Thank you so much. And for everyone that will watch thereafter, thank you. Thank you so much. Again, also like it, share it, and let's spread the word together. So, this very beautiful day, what are we talking about? Hmm, when I thought about this, I actually considered many things. And I wish it was a live, interactive, physical, on site gathering to ask everybody what exactly you're thinking about when you saw the topic for today. And it's nothing but the great betrayal. Mm, what struck you? Somebody saw it on Facebook and reached out to me and said, betrayal. It can be internal and external. It can be your friends and those who are not so close. And it went on with an analogy, and I'm like, okay, that's nice. Let's just wait until we hear it all on Knocks to Nuggets. So, what really is betrayal? Now, betrayal is an action that's like, okay, so it's dictionary says it's the action of betraying either your country, a group of people, or a person. And that's interesting. So, what does it mean to actually betray? It's to reveal something, it's to be disloyal to something. And that is where I'm actually going. It's to be disloyal to, is to unintentionally reveal a dark part of life. That is actually betrayal. So the easiest one we all relate with is that you have a friend and you've told that friend a particular secret, and then somehow you begin to hear it everywhere and say, he betrayed me, she betrayed me, I feel betrayed. And that's so true. And really, everybody has the right to feel that way when you think you have committed something to somebody and suddenly it's all over the place. And someone said that the saddest thing about betrayal is that it never really comes from your enemies. Hmm, very true. Because it actually comes from your enemy. Will it surprise you? Will you call it betrayal? What do you expect an enemy to do if not betray you? So an enemy betrays is okay. It looks normal. It's what they should do, they can do, they have done. But when it's from a friend, then you feel stabbed, you feel pained, you feel like throwing in the towel sometimes and giving up. Sometimes the people closest to you betray you, another person said, and then your home isn't a place you can be happy anymore. That has brought you closer. So it's not just friends outside there. Sometimes betrayal comes from within, from the house, from where you think is your comfort zone, your hideout, and then the betrayal comes from there. Yes. But have you thought about the great betrayal? I almost call it the greatest betrayal because actually there's none greater than it. And that is when you betray yourself. I stopped to let it sink in. I said, that's when you betray yourself. And that looks like impossible. How will I betray me? It's not possible. I love me. I do I can go on and on talking about how sure you are of loving yourself that nothing can shake it, nothing can change it, nothing can stain it. You love you, die. But let's look at it. How many times have you promised yourself something and you never did it? Should we start from the New Year resolutions? There was, I think it's an experiment somebody did, and said put 100 people together at age 25 and let them write their vision and their plan for the next 40 years. God keeping them all alive 40 years after, check out on them. So only one person will be wealthy, doing everything he has said he will do. 4 will be rich. So, but a good percentage will still be working, still thriving, still striving, still hoping to get to that mark they promised to get to 40 years ago. But a greater percentage will be broke. Broke, as in chalk broke. What happened? They just self-betrayed. And yes, an enemy can't betray you. What do you expect of an enemy? I mean, why do we have gates? It's the word of enemies. It's a word of thieves. So we have the gates, we lock it, and nobody's trailing in, nobody's coming in. So yes, we know you might want to come in and take what belongs to you. So you have a gate to keep them out. But what do you have to keep yourself out? So you started off the year saying, by the end of this year, I will have done 1, 2, 3, 4 things. And then we're in August, and I've not even done one. So yes, the ultimate betrayal is not when someone else lets you down, but when you let yourself down. And that is so true. You betray your own values, you betray your goals, you betray your visions, you betray everything you planned and you proposed to do. But many times we don't look there. We're looking outside. Oh, I'm not able to buy the car yet. It's because when I be there for that job, and my friend works in that office, my bosom friend, and could not even influence that contract in my favor. Can you imagine? I feel betrayed. Oh, you haven't written that exam yet? No, I haven't. Can you imagine? I talked to so and so and so person to help me, and I trusted the person, but look at me. It didn't even lift a finger. Why have you not yet done this? And you are pointing out, out, out. It's time to look into the mirror. The greatest betrayal is you letting yourself down. That's the honest truth. Why do we have 5% wealthy and 95% struggling? Did the 95% plan to struggle? No. So what happened? You see, the moment you begin to look into the mirror, and can tell yourself, this person I'm seeing is my potential greatest enemy, but I choose not to be the enemy of me. So I will intentionally work. I will intentionally focus. I will intentionally work on my goals. Then you haven't begun. A young lady complained and said, I don't know why I'm failing. Actually, as I read, I forget. I think I have something like it's dementia. But you never forget to eat. You never forget to hang out with friends. Is it dementia? Is it selective dementia? You choose what you want to forget. Now, can people have the challenge? I met a young lady recently who actually has the challenge of forgetting things. But really, when you are saying, I don't know, do you truly not know? You see, until you own the space, until you take charge, until you decide that nothing, not even you, will stop you, until you are ready to burn the candle, even in the night, until you're ready to roll up your sleeves and say to yourself, failure is not an option. You might suddenly wake up and the year is over. When I thought about this all through the week, I kept thinking about it. The great betrayal, the great betrayal. It kept ringing a bell in my head over and over again. And as it struck me, I kept asking myself, really, why do we do the things we do? And that brought me to something. We all plan to start. So you want to start a business, you write down, you put up a plan. Oh, how do I get into this business? Who do I need to talk to? How do I get the capital? How do I get this? How do I get that? Yes, you go to work, but have you thought about finishing? So you get to school, you earn the degrees, you get the second degree, you have your master's, you get your professional qualification, and you land this beautiful job, and you're excited. Have you thought about how you will exit that job? The day to sign off your resignation is actually the day you signed off your employment. What do I mean? Be intentional about life. Be intentional about you. Be intentional about the things you do for you. Be intentional about it. Life is not waiting. Tick tock, tick tock, the time is going. It's not about who you know, it's about you and your ability to push yourself. Thank God for encouragers. Thank God for accountability partners. Thank God for mentors. Thank God for coaches. But you know what? If you don't hold yourself accountable, there is nothing others can do. Have you realized that the water that sinks a boat is not the water in the ocean? Do you realize that? The water that sinks the boat is not the one in the ocean. Yes, the storms may rage, but the water that sinks the boat is the one that gets into the boat. That's the truth. The water that sinks the boat, it's the one that gets in. Which water are you allowing into your boat? So, yes, you have a plan. Yes, you have a vision. Oh, yes, you every day you are making the confession, you are doing your affirmations. Is it just a head assignment, or you is it of the heart? Is there a head and heart connection? Or is it just you mumbling it through? So you just read through your goals, just read through everything. And if anybody asks you, what did you just read? You can't even remember, non-stop. Absent-mindedly, you just performed the routine. And then you say, oh, everything PY said I should do or not to not get, I have done. I don't have the answers. Did you really do it? Look, no one can pull you down until you start pulling yourself down. It might be noisy all around. It might be turbulent. Global economy is not smiling. It's global economy, for crying out loud. It's not your economy. It's your country's economy. It's not your economy. Have you thought that in that land there is a Goshen? Have you realized that in that land there is a Goshen? When many are saying there is a casting down, and they're saying they cannot eat two meals, talk less of three, when they're saying they can't pay their rent, some people are making their first millions and billions in the same place. Before you think of the thieves, there are people that are doing it right. Because in that crazy economy you call it, there are opportunities, abundant opportunities. Until you betray you, none can betray you. So I'm asking you today, stop looking at the Mr. A or Mr. B. Stop looking at that neighbor on the left, that neighbor on the right. Start looking inwards. What are you doing with you? I know God is so amazing. We all have the same time, 24 hours. It's a leveler. Nobody has 25. Nobody has 30. Nobody has 10. We all have the same thing. So if Mr. A can succeed, trust me, you also can succeed. You know, What does betraying yourself do? It robs you of your self esteem. You don't even have confidence in yourself anymore. After all, I wrote these 5 things down I will do. And look at me in August, I haven't done any. And then you feel rejected and dejected. You actually started. And when you feel rejected and dejected, the world will see you as rejected and dejected. If you see yourself strong, the world will see you strong. If you see yourself able, the world will see you able. But every time you don't hit your goals, every time you don't hit the mark, and you look at yourself and you feel let down, you are dropping your head. And no one carries anyone whose head is down because you're not appealing. So your self-esteem is dropping. Your self-image is collapsing. You are feeling less than real. You are feeling less than you. Then depression begins to set in. You are sitting down and you are saying, oh, see me, see my life. Look at what has happened to me. A whole me. Oh, I wish, if it was just 10 years ago, if it was just 15 years ago, I wish, I wish, I wish. And you stay in the land of wishes. Hello, if wishes were horses, everyone will ride. I don't want to say the fool. But you know what? Wishes are not horses. So, oh no, if only, oh, I wish, oh, I wish. Stop the wishing. Okay, you are here. You haven't done what you plan to do January to July. You haven't saved the money you plan to save January to July. You haven't earned what you thought you would earn January to July. And now you are in August. Okay. Can you stop the cries? Oh, when I wanted to buy this thing, it was just $10. Now it's $15. Oh, I don't even know what to do. Do you know that some people who could not afford to buy cars when it was $1,000 are buying cars when it's $100,000? The fact that you could not achieve it yesterday does not mean you cannot achieve it. What drive are you going to put in? Don't wait for that person to drive you. Self-drive yourself. Oh, you don't understand. I've tried everything. I've talked to a coach. I've talked to a therapist. I've even tried to do a mental checkup if all is well with me. I've spoken to my friends. I've asked people to borrow me money. I've asked people to help me. I've tried everything. You think you have tried everything. Trust me, you have not. There's so much deep within you. There is so much you can do. Just stop and look inwards. Just ask yourself, what else can I do? What do I love to do? Oh, you love to cook. That's a gold mine in your hands. Just talking about cooking and doing several recipes can bring you the millions you have been waiting for. Stop looking down on yourself. Every time you look down on yourself, you are betraying yourself. You are telling yourself, I don't trust you. You are telling yourself, I don't respect you. You're telling yourself, I can't even believe in you. You're telling yourself, you're finding the fames of yourself or of low self-esteem. So stop looking down on yourself. You know what you can do? Take a mirror, lift it high, and look up into the mirror and say, I'm looking up to myself because I know I can do it. I am a success. I can succeed and I will succeed. So than looking down at yourself, put the mirror up and look up into the mirror. Put up a smile and tell yourself, I love you. Yes, love you. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you look pretty before you tell yourself, I look good. If you don't look good to yourself, nobody might see you as good. And even when they tell you are looking good, because to you, you don't look good, they'll tell them, oh, why are you flattering me? I know it's not good. How's that? You think it's a flatter because in your own eyes, you don't look good. That's the truth. The biggest betrayal, the greatest betrayal is you betraying you. So for everybody that's seen the topic and you're thinking, oh, finally I'll know how to deal with that friend. Finally, I'll know how to deal with that neighbor. Finally, I'll know how to deal with that colleague, that snitch, that guy that I trusted and just stabbed me in the back. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Until you stab yourself, their stabs don't matter. Until you stab yourself, their stabs don't matter. If you are in that storm and water is not in your boat, you will still be above the storm. The only thing that the storm will give you speed. So maybe on your own, you could paddle just 10 kilometers per hour. When the storm is doing the race, you'll be doing 100 kilometers per hour. You even get there faster than you ever could. As long as the water does not get into your boat, you will stand on top of that boat and you'll be hailing and cheering, and people will say, can't this person see danger? You are not seeing danger, you are seeing accelerator. That thing you are calling danger, someone is calling an accelerator. What are you calling it? That thing you are calling economic meltdown, somebody is calling economic boost. So I say, wow, so I can now earn more for my work. So I can now earn more for my business, from my sweat. So I can now earn more. Stop self-betrayal. It's the great and indeed the greatest of betrayals. Begin to look inwards. Begin to see the good in you. Begin to see the fact that you have what it takes to succeed. You are not a failure. Yes, you could have failed in time past. It's just an event. It doesn't define you. Why are you using it to define you? If I'm sure if God had allowed Peter stay down, he would never have become an apostle. Because the moment he betrayed Jesus, like, Kai, wow, I betrayed him when he mattered the most. When I could have shared in his suffering, I turned and I said I never knew him. This guy that made me one of his inner caucus, I was his kitchen cabinet. And look at me, I betrayed him. And people have been saying, oh no, see, my life is done. But Jesus knew that error could happen. So go and tell my disciples and Peter, let Peter know that that thing was an event. It just fulfilled prophecy. I'm not holding him to it. Let him get up quickly and stop self-defeating himself. Let him know I still count on him. Let him know I still love him. Hello, God still loves you. God counts on you. Creation is waiting for you to manifest. Yes, you've messed up. Yes, you have failed. Yes, you did not hit the mark. All of that is in history. Begin to write another story today. Tell yourself, yesterday is gone. Today is a new day, and I'm going for it. I'm going to take it on. I'm going to face it. I'm going to turn that mountain into a stepping stone. I'm going to turn that storm into an accelerator. I decide to succeed. I decide to win. I decide to go on. And you can do it. Don't let water into your boat. Keep your boat dry and no storm. Not one can sink it. The enemy is not the neighbor next door. The enemy is not the colleague at work. The enemy is not that boss that never smiles at you. The enemy is not that person that criticizes you at every opportunity. By the way, what is criticism? Someday we'll talk about criticism a little more. But you know what? You can use criticisms as your catalyst for growth. When the person is saying it to let you down, I say, oh, okay, I never saw it from that perspective. Every criticism is just a perspective. That's what it is. It's that person's perspective. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't rubbish you. It doesn't make you less than who you are. It's just a perspective. I want to challenge you. I don't know where you are in the journey of life. But you know that KFC, Colonel Sanders, started at 65? It's never too late until you say so. If you say it's too late, it is too late. But if you say it's just the beginning, it is just the beginning. So I want to challenge you. Stop betraying yourself. Stop looking around for the betrayers. The great betrayal is when you betray yourself. Don't. When you make mistakes, you just seen another way it won't work. Get up and go forward. You can do it. You have all that it takes to succeed. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the top because you just have what it takes. And until I come your way next week in another edition of Knocks to Nuggets, don't ever forget it. The greatest betrayal is when you betray you. So today, refuse to betray you. Decide to finish strong. Tell yourself all of these obstacles, the storms, they are nothing but accelerators. Enjoy the ride, enjoy the speed. Don't let water into your boat and you will never sink. That's it for today. Join me again next week in another discussion on Knocks to Nuggets. And until then, remember, if you can think it, you can be it, and you can have it. And as always, together we win. God bless you. See you next week. Bye for now.